Last week, we showed you the fake framework, how OnlyFans creators build relationships. This week, we're showing you how they extract maximum money from those relationships. It's darker than you think, and every business is already doing a version of this. So we're actually recording this before the last episode comes out. I don't even know if you liked it or not, but we're going to keep going because I found some more stuff in the OnlyFans rabbit hole. I kept digging on tactics. Honestly, some of this stuff is like straight up manipulation. Would not recommend it in your business. We will give you some examples of maybe where it could show up in some of the businesses that we talked about. But honestly, I think every business kind of does some of this, John. A lot of it's shady. A lot of stuff that we don't do. We come off as hopefully very authentic and that our morals are a little higher than most people. But OnlyFans, perfected this. They systemized it. I was impressed with what I found, and they turned emotional manipulation into a science.
Yeah, well, unsurprisingly, I think the adult industry has given the marketing world so much of what we do. This kind of feels no different.
Yeah, some of this stuff is pretty brutal, I would say. I don't know. It makes total sense. I get it. If you were trying to extract every single dollar out of your business, maybe, but you're definitely going to burn these bridges along the way, I would assume. All right, so this one I named Cash, 4 psychological trips that make people spend irrationally. So crisis creation, anniversary exploitation, scarcity theater, and hierarchy games is what I'm calling this. So the Cash framework, again, thank you, Claude, for coming up with frameworks for me. I appreciate you. All right, I'm going to jump right in, John. This one's called the rent crisis. So you might get a message on OnlyFans that says, I'm $500 short on rent, and my landlord's being such an asshole. They would send this to their top 20% of spenders. They would track in a CRM who responds and say, oh my God, thank you, baby. You literally saved me. Let me thank you properly. And then offer them some paid content, right? Next month, it's the car. Month after that, it's medical bills, right? And they continue this grift on their top 20% of spenders and then send them a thank you that is like an extra special thank you. It's just whatever, $9 or $19. So first off, I want to see your reaction on some of this stuff because this is gold.
Yeah. Oh, man. You know, the first thing that popped into my head, and this is a total fucking sidebar. The first thing that popped into my head was like, have you ever hired somebody who works overseas, like a virtual assistant or something like that, and you've had the same thing happen? Like every month they're like, hey, my computer broke, and then, hey, this is happening. Can I get some extra pay, or can I get my bonus early, or can I get my this or that? And like, I've had this with a couple of people, and it's like literally every month there's something, and you get to the point where you're kind of like, is that real? Was any of that actually real? And you're like, yeah, I want to. They're actually doing good work for you, but you're like, I want to help you out, man. I want to help you out.
We've passed around one employee through a bunch of my businesses, a bunch of my partners, and I've heard from every single one of them that her grandma has died a few times. And I'm like, that's crazy because she died 14 times when she worked for me. I feel like that's such a harsh thing to say, but it's much more common than you think. It works too. They're like, hey, can you send me next month pay early? A hurricane came through or a typhoon came through or whatever. I know you know what I'm talking about, John. This is there's probably a lot of people listening here that are triggered by this.
Yeah, look, getting back to your original question. I mean, this thing that you've talked about, that, you know, the $500 short on rent, blah, 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 it's fake. It's a fake emergency, that sort of thing. And it's used to attached to a sense of urgency. So it's like there's this fake thing happening and I need to solve it like immediately, like your rent, right? My landlord's putting pressure on me. I need to pay them right now. Can you help me? Can you help me? Like literally you would be surprised when you actually think of it. Like, it sounds really dirty when you say it like that, but the amount of businesses that do exactly the same thing is fucking staggering, right? So think about this. You're creating a fake thing that's not real. So once you see this, you won't unsee it when businesses do it. And then you're putting a sense of urgency on it. So an example of this could be, you know, in our last episode that we did on this, we used nutritionists as an example. So somebody who's offering a service. My practice is at capacity and I have to start a wait list unless my current clients upgrade to premium support. I can grandfather you in at current rates if you commit today. So businesses do this a lot. Like whether you know it or not, there are a lot of business out there that create fake capacity limits on their business. So this is a classic one for information product sellers. So I don't know if you've ever seen people who are selling a course and they say, I can only take 50 people into my course and then I'm closing the doors. I'm not taking any more people. Firstly, for starters, unless they're doing a lot of personalized coaching, there is no limit on taking people into a course. There is no technological limit. You could have 1 billion people in there and it would still work. You might not want to do all the service, but then you see them the next month, they do the same thing. Oh, my doors are open again. I'm taking 50 people in and blah, blah. And it just keeps revolving and revolving. And they use that as a tactic to get people to join now for fear of missing out, right? But it's completely fake. It's almost always completely fake. And so there are different versions of this that play out in businesses all the time. Sometimes there's like capacity limits on businesses for sure. But at the same time, like, isn't the answer to having a capacity in your limit in your business to increase your business, to expand your business, to hire a new employee, etc., etc.? So, like, anytime I see this, I'm really suspicious about it. Like, you know, you've got to join now or you won't get access is usually always fake.
Well, you called it the emergency pattern is kind of what you called it, right? There's making people panic buy, right? So there's another version of this that I took a note on of week 1, it's an unexpected bill, right? Week 2, it's the car broke down on the way to shoot content for you. Week 3, my cat needs surgery, right? Week 4 is a family emergency back home. And the crisis rotation is actually what keeps this working because different guys will respond to different emergencies. And so, yeah, I don't know how you play that in business. Like, how could you have a rotating set of emergencies, for lack of a better word, where, like, you know, some people will respond to this one, some people will respond to this one. And maybe that goes back to what you said about having, you know, an overseas employee who it's the computer or the power went out or grandma died or whatever it may be. They're pretty good at that too. So I have one in here that I put in around this, but I'm curious if you come up with other ideas. Mine was like Golf Pro, right? So my club is limiting lesson spots, or insurance is making me raise rates, or new management says I can only take 20 students, or equipment suppliers jacking up my prices. There's always something forcing my hand as the golf pro to create urgency without being the bad guy, right? Force people to a decision point without making them seem like I'm the one forcing their outstanding circumstances have happened. And so I need you to make a decision about upgrading your plan with me.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't know, one that stuck out to me in more recent times. Sometimes you can use like more economic things or whatever, like like I feel like there were a lot of businesses saying they had to, like when Trump did the tariff thing, right? When that first came out, there were all these businesses posting on social media like, oh, tariffs have come in, we have to close down our business and we're doing a big sale to get rid of all of our stock. Why would you need to close your business when the tariffs hadn't even been introduced yet? They'd just been announced and you've decided you need to close your business. People need to come and buy all of your stuff because you're going to shut down in a month. I doubt half of those businesses are actually closed right now. Like, if you went back and looked, you know what I mean? Like, put your prices up. You don't have to close your business because tariffs came in.
I'm sure there's plenty like that too that said, we're going to raise our prices. Tariffs are going to hit us. But you can get it right now. If you act today, you can still get it at the old price. Or, you know, there's no shortage of shady marketing in the world. That's for sure.
There are so many different little angles of this. You know, you could use things around, you know, the cost of doing business. You can do it around, you know, like increases to rent. You could, you know, there can be all sorts of different little variations. Like, if you were the sort of person that just wanted to create fake reasons why people should take action right now, like the list is endless. I think I've seen so many different ones over the years, for sure. In
a recent episode, you said you would allow your children to be out front. You would use your children to make money for the family. Is this another scenario like that? Would you say, poor little Calypso needs a surgery, I need to sell 20 courses this weekend in order to pay for it? Like, would you do that? Is that how far we're going here?
No, but like, you could. Like, 100% if I did that today, if I sent out an email to our list and I was like, pulled up a sob story, like a family sob story, and particularly if I brought my kids into it, I mean, you know, Calypso's gorgeous. If I put a picture of her in there and like faked a picture there, I'd be like, hey, honey, can you dress up like you're in the hospital for me? I guarantee you it would sell stuff. It absolutely would. For sure. Am I going to do? No, that's below my line for sure. Well below my line of what how I'd involve my children with my businesses. Absolutely.
Well, that episode came out today. It's, where's your ethical bar in business? I got some texts on that, John. I got some texts of people saying, holy shit, John would pimp out his kids just to make a buck for the family. And I was like, yeah, they were laughing as hard as I did during that show. So. All right, this one's called the breakdown message, right? And I don't think they're monetizing this one, but they send it out so it'll say, like, quote, I don't usually share personal stuff, but I'm struggling so hard right now. And, it's a vulnerability trigger, right? It makes simpletons feel like heroes. You've always been so sweet to me. So it's a personal touch they would send to 50 guys, right? They would send the message to 50 different guys. Each thinks they're the only one that she trusts, right? So it's kind of building trust inside the CRM. You can see which ones respond and then put a little note in there that, you've built this rapport with them, which in turn, then, you're going to be able to sell them very special, specific things because I'm vulnerable with you and I can trust you. You're one of my followers I can trust, which again, the followers should know they're talking to, someone in the Philippines.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, I mean, businesses use this. You could use this in business in a fake way to basically tell all of your customers that they're amazing and that you highly value them and, that they're so great to work with and all of this sort of stuff. And then just twist it a little bit and be like, and once again, connect it with some sort of fake urgency. Like, this thing's happening, but you've been so great. I just don't want to stop working with you. Can you pay in advance for 6 months? Or, I'm going to have to raise my prices. I won't raise yours quite as much. Or, you know what I mean? Like, feel like you make them feel special and then you create a fake special offer to give them that nobody else is going to get. And that seems to line up because you've been telling them how special they are to you, that you've been making them feel special. Do you know what I mean? And so you're just tugging at those kind of emotional heartstrings and sharing your little vulnerabilities around what's happening in your business with them and all of that sort of thing and making them feel like they're part of the family. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're different to everybody else kind of thing. And it feels gross talking about it. But yeah, I mean, like, pulling on the emotional strings, that's why anybody spends money, right? That's why people spend money. They spend money for emotional reasons first, which they try and justify with logic. And so as long as you've got a logical story as to why you're pulling their emotional string, whether it's real or fake, that works. But you have to have the two halves to it. You have to have the story that's like the logical explanation for why you're putting an ask on them, if the ask is for emotional reasons, right?
I could see this working in a lot of areas, like a trainer at a gym, right? You're building a lot of rapport when you're training somebody. They're often sharing a lot of their story with you, probably more than they should share, if I'm honest with you. The trainer's probably sharing back, right? And then you can be, oh, you're such a special client to me, and give them the whole story over the hour of, inflation, things are getting harder. I'm going to have to double my prices, but I really like working with you. So I tell you what, I'm going to give you halfway between. So instead of going from $200 to $400 a month, we're going to go $300 for you. Okay. I just need you to commit to the next 6 months or something like that. I can see this working very, very well. This one makes me want to try it, if I'm honest with you.
Now nobody can trust what Ben says.
That one's tempting. I'll say that.
Hey, John here for just a sec. You know how we're always breaking down these wild business ideas and road testing opportunities that other podcasts won't touch? Well, we're growing our own business here, this podcast, and we need your help. So here's the deal. If the Low Bar podcast has given you that holy shit I can actually do this moment, or just made your commute less boring, help us out. If you're watching on YouTube, go and hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on Spotify, go to our profile page on Spotify and smash that 5-star button. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, hit the review button and leave us a review. It takes you just 30 seconds, costs you nothing, but helps us reach more people who think starting a business is rocket science, which it's not. And it will also give us the momentum we need to do even more fun and crazy business stuff right here for your entertainment. We love to keep it real with you. Now keep it real with us. Let's grow this thing together.
All right, so this one's called the guilt follow-up, right? So the OnlyFans version is after someone helps with rent, you send them the, I've been thinking about you all week since you saved me. Wait 3 to 4 days, then say, I couldn't stop myself from making this for my hero. And you send a thank you video for $200, right? A week later, you say, every time I'm in my apartment, I think of how you kept me here, right? And then send them another offer for $150 photo set, right? A month later, say, remember when you saved me? It's our anniversary of that. And then, guilt compounds. They paid once to help, and now they keep paying it because you keep referencing it. So this one, like when we talked about the rent thing, we got a little bit sick, right? It's just like, of course some people are going to help with rent. And now they're like doubling down and saying, hey, remember when you helped me with rent? I can't believe you did that for me. I'm like, honestly, this makes me want to be an OnlyFans creator when I look at some of this stuff, because this just seems so easy. I can imagine people just fawning over you where, like, I don't know, this seems like really easy marketing. Like, it's way harder to say, hey, you bought some service from me and it's been a month. I'm so glad you bought from me. I just can't wait to sell you another. Like the ability to sell to these men has to be one of the easiest ways to do marketing on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, like particularly if you're doing it through like, emotional connection and that sort of thing, right? Because that's what so many men secretly want but won't say they need, right? Like, everybody thinks that the man thing is like, men just want sex, which is true. But they don't just want sex. They also want the emotional connection to somebody. They want to feel special, all of that sort of thing. Like, that's something that men crave mostly. But often in their life, in their own lives, they're too scared to say it out loud, right? Or they don't feel comfortable saying it out loud to actual people that are sitting in their life, their partners, whatever. So they got to go and find it somewhere, though, because it's a need, right? And so, yeah, if an OnlyFans girl can offer it at a distance, in exchange for little bits of money each time sort of thing, for a lot of men, like, that's going to seem a lot easier than getting that any other way, even if probably deep down they know it's fake, right? Because deep down, you have to know it's fake. You know what I mean? But it feels nice at the time, I guess. And so you keep doing it. And you go deeper down a rabbit hole and all of this sort of stuff. And so I can see it. Like, I saw on my Instagram, right, the other day, you hit a certain time at night and if you're a guy, your Instagram feed just fills up with OnlyFans creators because they all pump out their posts at around the same time, I think. There's this one from this woman in Australia. She's, a well-known OnlyFans creator. She gets in my feed and she's like there with this guy. He's like this, like, he's a fat, ugly guy. I'm going to be honest. He's a fat, ugly, probably in his 40s or 50s. Like, he's not hot on the dating scene, right? He's not on Tinder. Nobody's fucking swiping him the right way on Tinder or anything like that. And this chick's like, this guy spent $1.2 million on me last year. And so I'm here doing something special for him. It's like, what the fuck? Why? Because I don't see anybody else touching this guy with a 10-foot pole, if I'm honest. He's getting it somewhere.
Do you think it's that? We sold a lot of products, right? And we've looked at a lot of keywords. Americans are kind of dumb, buddy. Like, for the majority of people, if you're listening to this, you are not one of them. But, like, go look at the search terms in your Google Ads account, right? And you'll see, what the fuck was that person thinking? Like, there's just a lot of dumb people out there. And so I have to assume, while there certainly is many men who are what you just described there, like they're out of options, perhaps. And they kind of know it's a rigged game, but they enjoy playing the game. I'm sure there's plenty of that, but there's got to be plenty who just don't get it, right? Like, that are just falling for the sauce here.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably right. I just don't want to admit that people are that dumb, I think.
Here's the only thing I could come up with for this one. So picture like a power washer, right? They'll do perhaps an emergency service, or they'll do something at your house, right? And then they'll drive by a week later and just say, hey, I've been thinking about your property. I noticed the fence could use some attention to, or drove by today and saw that. Or a month later say, remember that nightmare with the driveway? Let's prevent that on your siding, right? Or just, I can imagine a way if you offer multiple services where that makes sense. In fact, I'm starting to get my brain going on e-commerce where, we sell a lot of different products to one human, right? They're inevitably going to buy multiple products from us. They might not buy two of the same product, but they're going to buy multiple different products from us. And so how could we, once they purchase from us, first off, we should be doing marketing after the fact, but how can we turn it more personal and maybe hit right on anniversaries to make it more of a thing and say, God forbid, you've had this product for a month and, this product would make so much sense. I'm sure we're kind of already doing something similar to that, but is there a way to make it more personal? Because this power washer one seems more personal. The you paid my rent thing feels very personal, right? And so I don't know. This got me thinking. This particular one got me thinking how could we implement this in a ethical way on our e-commerce businesses?
Yeah, so e-commerce, you would do it via, most people would be doing this stuff via email, maybe some retargeting ads and that sort of thing, like delivering those messages, and that's great, and it works to an extent. And there's nothing real. I mean, it's just a classic upsell chain, right? It's not really or I don't know if you call it upsells or resells or whatever. But like, I think it's easier with physical services though, because you've been there, you've seen you've seen the person, and you've got that more of a connection, and you've actually seen the state of them, or their, like in your example, like their property, right? You've been there to do one job, and while you were there, you noticed 5 or 6 other things that you could charge them for, and because you've seen it, you can say to them, "Oh, hey, I noticed, like, you know, your fence has this problem. And it would look so good. It would look so much better. Your house would be worth more if we fix that up. And we can do it for this great price. And because you bought from us once, I'll give you a discount on it." It's way easier like that. I think for e-commerce, the way you would do it via phone sales. You would have to do it on the phone to really get maximum effort into it. Like actually call the customer up. Like we talk about this, right? You sold them the first product. I think we even talked about this on a recent episode of this podcast. You should be calling them, you know, on the things that don't scale. Right, that should be out probably by the time people hear this, I think. And so you should call them after the sale, after they've had the product delivered, to see if they're happy, see if they can get a review. You learn a bit more about them then. If you're keeping a CRM, you're keeping notes on them. Oh, I talked to this customer about this. Yeah, they're happy. Yeah, this is what they're doing at their house, or with this product that I sold them. Blah, blah, blah. Then could you call them a few weeks later and be like, "Hey, man, just catching up, last time we spoke, you know, you said you were into this thing. Hey, did you know that we have this product? I think it would make your thing that you do so much better if you had this product as well. I got a good deal for you today that I can offer you today. You know what? My boss is only letting me offer you this week. I can take 20% off. Let's do it." There's another. There's another one from earlier. A little bit of fake.
I own a wellness website, right? So my brain's already spinning of how easy it would be to sell a sauna, right? And then start hitting them with ads a week later. Maybe it's not anniversary type stuff, but hit them with an ad a week later that is simply someone stepping out of their sauna, right? That's the beginning of the ad. They step out and they're like, "Oh, I love a good sauna, but there's nothing I like more than getting in that cold plunge right after the sauna," right? And that's your ad. That is your ad to take them to the next step, right? And so, you know, does that lead to hyperbaric chambers and PEMF mats and all the other, you know, wild stuff that's out there, red lights and all that stuff? I don't know, but I could see how you could do a nice path of this. It would just be a little less personal, I think.
Yeah, you should be doing that anyway, though. Like, I mean, I don't think there's nothing dodgy about that. I mean, that's a legitimate thing, right? Like, people do that.
Well, I'm certainly not going to. If you want me to come up with dodgy ideas, I can on some of this. Some of these things will lead to the dodgy ideas. I don't think people have listened to us enough to know that we might laugh at some of those ideas, but we're probably not doing any of those dodgy ideas. Most nights, my brain won't shut off. I'm lying there chasing new ideas, diving down rabbit holes, thinking through business problems, all of it. I can't turn it off, and honestly, I don't even want to. I fucking love this stuff. But I do need solid sleep if I'm going to show up as the best version of myself for my wife, for my kids, for my business partners, and for me. So every night, I take Kill Switch from Switch Supplements. I've been taking it for years. I take a scoop, I watch a quick YouTube video, and within a half an hour, I'm out. It works every single time. My wife takes it. My employee takes it. We even gave it out at a couple of our live events and everyone loved it. If you're the same way, you can't turn it off, but you still want to win big the next day, go to switchsupplements.com/lowbar and use the code lowbar to get $10 off your first order. That's switchsupplements.com/lowbar and use the code lowbar. Sleep like you're dead. All right, this one's called the Savior Complex, right? So on OnlyFans, you would position the spender as the hero. "I don't know what I'd do without you. You're the only one who really cares. Everyone else just wants something from me." It makes them feel needed. The hero needs to keep saving. I can imagine how this easily turns into sales. It kind of feels like the last one there, where you're like, you know, really singling out certain individuals to let them know how much of a connection you have with this person. There's got to be ways that you can implement this in your business, but it's going to have to be like a service-based business where you're actually working with people, I assume.
Yeah, it would have to be.
All right, the only one I could come up with is like tattoo artists, right? And you're one of the few clients who really gets my art. Most people just want basic stuff, but you appreciate real work. Or I'm saving my best ideas for clients like you. It makes them feel special. Hopefully it gets them to spend more to maintain their status with you as the tattoo artist. Am I off base here?
Yeah, that's pretty much how you can tell somebody you don't have tattoos without telling them you don't have tattoos.
It doesn't work this way? No, you don't go to the artist for
that
their
example
work?
does not work.
Okay. I have 0 tattoos. You are correct.
No, you would be having a motivation mismatch there, I think, between why the customer does what they do versus what you're trying to drive them to do. And once again, I think there's a level with all of this stuff where if you were doing it, like trying to take one of these examples and implement it into your business, or you were implementing it in your business, and if it wasn't working, sometimes it's because like you can only, when you're trying to stretch the envelope with this stuff, you can only go so far from your customer's normal behavior. You can only incrementally advance it a little bit. So you can't go in and like invent something that is just doesn't line up with the customer's like psychological motivation for why they buy your service in the first place. Or you can't go and make like a really big, unbelievable crisis or something like that. It's always got to be like something that is very plausible, but also fits the normal customer buying process. And like it's just a little thing. Like talking about, going back to the example you talked about earlier, where, like a power washing business or something like that, like, or some sort of service-based business, like where you're doing repairs or something like that. Like you're not gonna go and do one small job and then the next time be like, hey, we could rip down your whole property and rebuild it completely from the ground up, and it's going to cost you $57,000 and all of this. Like that's too much, right? It would just have to be a small thing, and then another smaller thing, and then another smaller thing, which add up over time for it to work. And so in this example, people don't get, some people probably do, but most people, particularly people who are interested in their tattoos, they don't just get a tattoo just because of anything. Do you know what I mean? Like there's going to be a plan, there's going to be like a motivation, and it's going to be so strong that you can't kind of skip outside of that with fake urgency. Like you're just not going to skip outside of that into something that you want that they don't want.
Well, hopefully the rest of my ideas land here, because I appreciate you telling me my idea sucked. I'm going to blame Claude. I'll blame Claude for that one. All right. So next up in the cache is a anniversary, right? So here's some anniversary related things that they're doing. And honestly, I think some of these are really smart. And I actually think some of the ideas that came out of it are pretty good too. So the first one is like your birthday, like 10-day extraction sequence, right? So 3 days before your birthday, they'll say, hey, your birthday's coming, working on something special for you on your birthday. Happy birthday, baby. I made this just for you. Like a $99 video, right? 2 days after your birthday, you say, hope you loved your gift. I have an even naughtier version for you, which is $199, right? And then a week later, still thinking about your birthday week and like a $99 photo shoot or something like that. So I actually really love this one. This is genius. I wish I had something around birthdays that made more sense to do this, because this one seems so fucking smart to me.
Maybe we should get some people on here who actually pay for this stuff. I'd love to talk to them about it. Is that how you know about this stuff, Ben?
No. Have I logged into OnlyFans? Yes, I have. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm sure we've all checked it out. I've definitely checked it out. It was very popular during COVID. I've taken a peek around, John, but I don't remember any of this stuff. I didn't get suckered into any of this stuff.
Yeah, anniversary stuff this is a very common one in business. Lots of businesses do this, So oftentimes when you buy something off a business, they'll ask you what your birthday is, and you can provide it or not provide it if you don't want to. And then you kind of know, though, if you provide it, they're going to send you a whole bunch of offers around your birthday. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you want those.
But you can build it around your purchase birthday too. Right?
Yeah.
Like, so whenever someone buys from you, like the one I threw in here was for the golf pro, right? So he'll track your quote unquote golf anniversary, your first lesson, right? Or your birthday or your club membership date. All of those fixed moments that happen inside of your business can be a date, right? So it's been exactly 1 year since we fixed your slice, or birthday special, 50% off video analysis for your birthday, or celebrating 5 years at the club. Let's do a full game rebuild. There's an opportunity to do this in any business whatsoever, and it doesn't need to necessarily be a birthday, right? If they just bought a pellet grill from you, you can hit them up a year later and be like, it's been a year. How many things have you cooked? Have you tried this? Have you tried this Wagyu affiliate link? Have you tried this Piedmontese affiliate link? Have you tried this? Do you need a grilling set? Just like there's an opportunity to recapture attention based on any date you want to make up. That's the whole reason for all of the holidays in America. I don't know if you celebrate half the ones we fucking celebrate here in America and Australia, but there is a holiday for fucking everything here.
Yeah, no. And like it's because like you're driving this stuff because, or people drive this stuff because it gives them a reason to communicate as well. Do you know what I mean? Like it gives you a better reason to communicate than just sending somebody an email once a month and saying, here's a $100 off coupon for no reason. When you build in like dates, like anniversary dates, like you say, like the day you started doing something, the day you took the next step of doing something, the day you reach some sort of achievement, like if we're talking about golfing and somebody's, reached some sort of achievement, I don't know, there's all sorts of achievements you could reach in golf. You start celebrating that as well. And, it gives you a personalized reason to communicate with people, which is much more powerful than just being like sending a general email out to your list and saying, hey, $20 off today. if you can send each person a personalized one saying, hey, did you know that you started doing this thing a year ago? Let's reflect on your journey a little bit. It's been great, blah, blah, blah. And as a kind of reward for your hard work, here's $20 off. Come and buy something now. Much more powerful, obviously, the second version than the first version. And so, yeah, the more ways you can find an opportunity to, build an anniversary in there, it gives you a reason to talk to people in the first place when they aren't actively trying to talk to you.
Well, I found 3 more on OnlyFans that all fit this entire bill, right? So the monthly milestone, it's our 3-month anniversary. Can't believe it's been 6 months. Just like monthly reminders of fake relationship milestones, right? With a special offer attached to all of them, of course. There's the first time anniversary, right? So 1 year since your first message, or 1 year since your first tip. Again, anything could be a milestone here, right? And everyone comes with a custom video or a custom offer, right? And then same with the holiday stuff, right? Every holiday can become a guilt or a FOMO combo, right? So Valentine's Day, I'm all alone on Valentine's unless you want to be my date. The $99 girlfriend experience package is on offer, right? Or Christmas, I didn't get you anything because I didn't know if you cared. Should I? And then you do a gift exchange where they tip and you send some content or an appreciation video for Mother's Day or Father's Day. You've been such a good daddy video. I'm sorry, this is getting brutal here. It'd be very easy to weaponize holidays, especially in this type of business. So the A seems so obvious. We should all be doing this in our business. Maybe not quite this way, but like there's such an opportunity to do this in any business for anyone who's listening.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can use it genuinely for good purposes as well. So once again, going back to the example of like a nutritionist, let's say somebody started with you, you're a nutritionist, somebody started with you, you're going to have milestones after they start with you. You're probably going to, depending on their needs, maybe you've built them an eating plan, what they're going to eat, like a diet, if you will, and they're going to try and stick to that to drive progress with their health or something like that. You could definitely use these anniversary dates as like a check-in, it's 30 days and 60 days, 90 days, checking in, seeing how you're going. Oh, you're looking so much better, blah, blah, blah. Let's take it up a notch. Or, if they're not doing so well, maybe you've got something lined up for them that will help them to do it better. Oh, 30 days in, you're not doing very well with it. Oh, no worries. I've got this product over here. We can get you back in and do this thing, and it's going to help you stick to it better. It's just an extra $200 or $300 or something like that. You know what I mean? But doing those check-ins might also, for some people, help to keep them accountable and actually help them make progress. And so it is a good thing, but can you attach extra sales to it as well while you're doing that good thing? Yeah, you can. I think what a lot of businesses don't think through is actually like you have to plan this stuff out in advance so you know what the answers are at all times, right? So I think many businesses go in and all they're thinking about is like, how do I just sell stuff to anybody? And they actually haven't mapped out how does somebody go from that first sale, like what are the logical options for them? Okay, so if a person buys X, we offer them blah, 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 blah at these intervals. And if somebody buys Y, we offer them blah, blah, blah at these intervals. Like having that mapped out is actually a really good exercise, not just for you as the business owner, but like if you've got employees, your employees should all know that as well. So that when they come into contact with customers, they automatically know, okay, well, if I'm talking to somebody and they bought this and it's six months on, I should see if they want to buy this because for X reasons. Do you know what I mean?
The nutritionist, the fitness trainer one is so simple to me, right? Like there's going to be a New Year's resolution package. There's going to be a Thanksgiving package, like don't undo all your project, right? The holiday survival package, the love yourself first Valentine's package, the back to school new routine, new you package, the beach body package for, summer's coming package. I think all of that would be easy. Honestly, where you took my head was, we're partners in a business that sells like skid loader attachments and a bunch of other like yard equipment, right? And so each one of those attachments has a specific season in which you would more likely use one than the other, right? And so we should probably have this set up. So shout out to Rob. If you're listening to this, buddy, we should probably have this. They bought this attachment. It's clearly a fall attachment. Here's the winter one. We should hit them with an email. Here's the spring one. Here's the summer one. And kind of having this planned out. This is, honestly, this business is simple, right? We're just lazy. This is not that hard to think through and build in any business that you're doing. So to your point of like the CRM tracking it, there's one in here I'm calling the recurring celebration. Again, the CRM can track all of this stuff. So wherever you pin your date, A girl might say, it's been exactly 6 months since you joined, celebrating with 50% off custom content, or 1 year since your first tip, or anniversary of that custom video you loved. Would you like another? And just like every single thing that they're doing, you can attach an offer to. I wish from the world we come in, we're not selling a lot of different types of, like, there's not a tip, there's not a custom video, there's not a photo set, there's not that. Often we're selling one big product. Sometimes maybe we're selling a bunch of little products, but the CRM here is where I think it really comes into play. Like just triggering this stuff at specific dates and calling out the specificity of, hey, it's been whatever, this many days since you did this. Have you thought about that? I think there's a lot of opportunity in all of these anniversaries, if you will.
I do think businesses should do this, like a version of this, because, like the reality is, particularly if you're in a crowded market for your business of any sort, you can't really these days leave it up to the notion that the customer's just going to come back to you when they need something or want something or whatever it is in your market. People's attention spans are short. There's more ads than ever, all of that sort of stuff. And having like a really good structure of following up with customers, particularly if you have a business where you can sell a service repeatedly, where you can sell a product or a system of products repeatedly. Your products are consumable, for example. If you're a D2C business or something like that, and you've got consumable products, having a really solid system in place to make sure you're following up people in a reasonably personalized way that doesn't need to be fake necessarily, but actually keeps your business at the front of their mind in a personalized way and attaches offers for them to buy more from you. Like, that's what builds a strong business. But I go back to, like, you've got to plan it out in advance, and then you've got to set up the system with the reminders and update it every time somebody has contact with that customer, or use a lot of this can be automated as well, of course. Once you can do that, it becomes much easier. Just getting automated reminders. Hey, we need to contact this person about this thing. And hey, we need to contact this person about this thing. And hey, we should offer this thing to this person. Repeat business is one of the only ways that you grow a business. Do you know what I mean? And so it's a massive lever to pull if you can.
I think a lot of it comes down to the information. We kind of talked about it on the last episode of like how much detail they're putting in CRMs about these men or women who are following them. And so, as I started thinking about this, like where could this be in a business, right? So for a golf pro, just somebody mentioning that they wanted to break 90 should go in their CRM. Maybe it's not something you sell them in the beginning because they're at 105. They're not ready for a breaking 90 thing. They just need 10 sessions or something like that. But they mention it. And so you can just kind of schedule that out and be like, hey, I know you mentioned breaking 90 and it's in the CRM. They're tagged that. So when you eventually run an offer on the breaking 90 thing, you make sure you send it to them, not directly to everyone. You send it directly to them or set it up on a timer. It'd be very easy to do the natural timing, right? When we sold dog supplements, they bought 10. Okay, at 10, we're going to offer them this thing to make sure they try to stay on for another 10 or whatever. They bought 5. We want, the whole goal is to, get them to the next point where we can say, okay, if they get here, they're going to be sticky till here, and then we'll hit them with an email and hopefully they're sticky till here kind of thing. I think you can do that, and everyone should do that. But there's an opportunity to talk to your customer, learn from your customer, hear the things they're saying, learn more about them, and put it in your CRM and use all of those data points as an opportunity to hit them with these offers.
Yeah, and this is I think a space where like online business could take a lot from offline businesses, right? So like in offline businesses, because you have like service-based businesses or more traditional businesses or even physical retail stores to a certain extent, because you have that face-to-face interaction with your customers, it allows you to know a lot more about them, right? Because there's going to usually be, it's easy to have chat in that, like just, chit-chat in that kind of environment. You see them physically, you might see where they live physically, depending on what you do. You might be going into their business and see their business physically if you serve businesses. And so you're going to notice a lot of things in doing that are going to stick in your mind about that customer, even if you don't record it. When you're running an online business, you only really talk to people via online chat or maybe email or maybe on the phone. You don't see anything visually. And so you have to ask questions. Like you have to actually push yourself a little bit. But what I reckon almost no online businesses do is record anything about their customers. And I think that's a big missed opportunity. Like how many people, like literally a lot of the people who listen to us will be e-commerce business owners. When you talk to a customer on the phone and they're telling you about why they're interested in buying the product you sell, are you like making notes somewhere about that customer? Hey, I spoke to Bill. He's doing this at his house and he needs to buy this. and I'm going to record it somewhere. So next time I talk to Bill, I know his story, and I can say, "Hey, last time we spoke, you said you were doing this." Or even if you're calling him proactively, you can come back and hit your notes up and say, "Yeah, you were doing this, weren't you? How did that go? Cool. All right, here's the next step. What you can add on top of that is this product over here." I reckon nobody does that. Almost nobody does that in online businesses. I don't think I've ever seen a single person doing that to that level. I can think of maybe one person that might do this, that I reckon does this that I know, but I don't think anybody does that. And I think they should. I think I should do that. Just talking about it now.
I would agree. I actually met somebody at a mastermind who had a CRM for his friends, and he kind of taught it on a little side session at a mastermind. He was like, you should all do this too. You should put your friends in here, put CRMs, put reminders in there, not just birthdays, but cool things that they've done, or anytime this comes up, like let yourself know. Again, when Shannon was on, he had that limitless pendant, right?
Yep.
Could you tie your CRM into the limitless pendant, and so that anytime you and I talk about something that was related in one of the tags and someone in our CRM, we could be at the end of the day, it would remind me to send them an email and be like, "Oh, I saw this today. I was thinking of you." Right? I'm really bad at that. Like I'm really, really bad at staying in touch and doing things like that. And so I reached out to Limitless today, actually, and they were thrilled to be mentioned on our show. With Shannon's approval too. I don't know. I might have to get that pendant and give this a try.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting product. I'll give it that.
All right, I got some red meat for you here, John. I know you've seen this one somewhere, but I'll read through the OnlyFans version first before you go on your rant. All right, so we're into the scarcity now, right? So this is the fake countdown of deleting in 24 hours. They'll post pictures with a countdown timer, right? Then it expires and the content is still there, but now it's $50 instead of whatever price it was, right? And it'll be in your DMs as rescued from deletion so that you still feel like you're getting some sort of offer there, right? Next week, it'll say final 3 hours, same content, new timer. The countdown creates panic buying. She or he could run 4 to 5 countdowns simultaneously, like a morning content that expires at noon, a lunch special that ends at 2, evening drop that deletes at midnight. It's all fake. Nothing ever gets deleted. It just gets moved behind a higher paywall. The timer app shows 87 people viewing and 12 just purchased, like all fake social proof as well. I know you've seen this. I know everyone listening has seen this shit before. So here's your red meat, John. Go for it.
So many different e-commerce versions of this for sure. What's the one I saw the other day? Oh yeah, I was shopping on a website. I can't remember what I was buying, but I was shopping on a website, added products to cart. You get to the cart page or the checkout page, and it's like, there's a countdown timer. And it's like, it's not even good. It's like, your cart expires in 9 minutes, and it's counting down. How the fuck does a cart expire? Like, it doesn't. But then they actually do. They just dump your cart. You've got to go back and add the product. The price doesn't change or anything, but there's a fake urgency around me actually clicking the next button because my cart's going to expire and I'm going to have to go through and add the products again. And there is no need for that. Carts don't expire, right? That's just if you're really dumb and you don't know.
Well, they do that at Las Vegas hotels and airlines too, right? We're holding your seats for 20 minutes. You have 20 minutes to check out. Ticketmaster does this stuff too, right? Of are they actually pulling those tickets out of circulation, those hotel rooms out, and giving you the opportunity to buy them during those 10 minutes? I'd love to know the actual details behind that. Is certainly on an e-commerce store, they're not moving enough product where they need to hold your card for 10 minutes, but maybe, just maybe, seats on a flight, a hotel room, or Ticketmaster holding the tickets or something like that. Maybe they're actually holding it for you. I'd love to know the truth.
Yeah, if there genuinely is a limited supply of something, there would get to a point where, if it's tickets for a concert, they're going to sell out if it's actually popular enough, right? That could be the case, or it also could not be the case, and the concert isn't popular. And they're trying to build fake urgency by suggesting that it's popular, by saying tickets are selling quick, get yours now. You've got 24 minutes left to get these tickets or they're gone. They pull them out of circulation for a couple of hours and they put them back in again. So definitely I agree. Nothing ever gets deleted. Things often don't run out, but sometimes a business will pull them and then they'll just offer them again in a week or two because guess what? You've forgotten. It's like if you're doing email marketing, you can send exactly the same email 4 times a year. You space it out 3 months. Nobody remembers what email they got 3 months ago from you. So in reality, if you wanted to send emails to your list every day of the year, you only have to do that for 3 months and then recycle every single one again. Nobody remembers. I don't remember an email I got 3 months ago. I don't remember the sale you offered me 3 months ago. Do you know what I mean? Just offer me exactly the same fake urgency sale 3 months later. I'll probably be like, oh yeah, I'll have a look at that. Particularly with online businesses, anything that's like countdown timer based, time based, etc. So I'd say 80% of it's fake online right now. Sometimes there genuinely is a limited supply. Sometimes there genuinely is like a reason why the sale's ending. But I'd say 80% is fake.
I put a note in here. I wanted to see if it would get you triggered or not, because we do this occasionally. The sale ends Friday night at midnight. It never fails to amaze me that Saturday morning and Sunday morning, that page is still up for us somehow. Due to overwhelming demand, we've reopened it for 24 hours or a payment plan glitch. We're extending it for 48 hours. Someone said they couldn't pay. I would say you are the king of leaving it open for, you'll hide the page. You won't let people get there the natural way, but that page will still exist for a good 3 days. I've seen them last for 7 days, maybe even longer with you. So I threw that in there just to see if I could.
I feel sorry for the sob stories that I always get. I should be tougher. You know, it'll be like the day after the sale. Somebody will be like, I've been away all weekend with my family and I just missed out on, I saw this email afterwards. Can you give me the price? I'll be like, oh, God. Yeah, all right.
Dude, it works every year. Every year I give you shit about it and it fucking works. Like I remember one year that it was like late January and the year-end sale, we got a sale in late January and I was like, John, how is this possible? And you're like, hey man, a sale's a sale, but you got to leave that shit open. I don't know. It's wild. All right, so the next is like a unlimited. So only doing 10 custom videos this month. They'll actually do 100, right? Or exclusive content for the next 5 tippers, and everybody who tips gets it. We kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but this seems like something they do to put a limit, put a cap on it to increase urgency, increase scarcity, and and then just sell it all, right? And again, hitting that thing, reach my limit, but for you, I'll make an exception, right? They're saying this to everyone, and so digital has no limits. Honestly, and we come from a digital world. I think this happens all the time in the digital course coaching guru world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you ever sent any of those things like my highest level coaching is maxing out, I only have 5 clients or whatever, and then you have 10 or 15 or I don't usually do this, but your application stood out? Like, have you ever done that in the guru world or in the coaching world? I've certainly been part of those funnels.
No, I don't think I've ever done it. Like there's been times where I was like, I'll take on 5 clients now and then realized later that I could take on more. And then I do like take on an extra 1 or 2 like the next month or something like that. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I took on 5 and then one of those didn't end up panning out. And so I've got space. And so even though I said last month that I'm only going to take 5 for the next X amount of time. And I was like, oh, I actually did have some capacity still. So I'll push out another spot or 2. But like, I've never been like, oh, I've got empty books and I can only take 10 when I could really take 50. Nah, I don't think I've ever felt the need to do that. And like, once again, like I get where it comes from the business side for people, and I get where they get pushed into doing a lot of this stuff. For me, it's like if you can only sell stuff with a bunch of fake urgency or fake discounts, structures, or fake capacity limits or something like that, like you don't actually have something that people want to buy ordinarily. Like it's essentially saying you have to find ways to devalue your offer because your offer is not good enough to sell in the market it's selling in without doing that. So you should really, I think, be looking at how can I make what I sell such an absolute no-brainer for people that I don't have to do this all the time.
I mean, it happened to me. It was a group thing. I was told there would only be 12 people there, maybe 15 people max. And that there's 2 spots left. And, I fell for the FOMO. I bought the ticket. I'm glad I bought the ticket. To be fair, it all ended up okay. But I showed up there. There was at least 25 people there, if not 30 people there. So good for that person who sold all those tickets. I know what the price I paid. So good for them. But yeah, they fooled me for sure.
Yeah, and you do run, particularly if you're in a small market like that. I'm sure the event that you were at's probably not the biggest market for that sort of thing out there. Like people do, like you remember it. So anytime that person markets to you in the future, that's not going to work on you. Like let's say that you might not be in the market for it anymore, but let's say you were. I mean, you're not going to fall for that twice, right? So the problem sometimes with these kind of tactics is that they have a used by date.
I didn't renew, that's for sure. I enjoyed myself. I actually really enjoyed the being there, but I didn't renew, right?
Yeah.
And I can't see an ad from that person without going, really? You know what I mean? Like it's a turnoff, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think the information marketing space or coaching marketing space is probably one of the worst. Like the amount of times I've seen people saying, oh, I'm never doing this again, or You know how many gurus I've seen that are retiring? Oh, I'm having my retirement sale. I'm out of the game. I'm closing everything down. This is your last chance to get my courses, my coaching, blah, blah, blah. I'm out. 6 months fucking later. Oh, I'm back with a new offer in the information marketing space, blah, 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 blah. Everybody buy it now. It's brand new. This is a new thing. I'm new. A year later, I'm retiring again. I'm out, blah, blah, blah. Buy all my shit right now. 6 months later, I'm back again. I've seen numerous people do that.
That's funny you say that. That was literally next on my list. This is my last month of OnlyFans, and they post it quarterly. Retiring from content creation, right back next week. Final content ever, and they post monthly for engagement. I think that's a pretty common thing. The other one I had on here was the price threat, and we kind of touched on that too, of like subscription going up to $50 next month, and it never actually goes up, right? Or last chance at 30, same price for 2 years. Raising all customer prices tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. So I'm not a fan of any of these tactics, like the fake scarcity. It's tough. It's tough to give real scarcity because it drives sales in your business without falling into that territory where it's like you're going to be fake. And I gotta be honest, it's tempting. It's tempting to be fake. It's tempting to provide fake scarcity because it fucking works. Flat out, it works.
I get it as well. It works. And oftentimes in business, cash flow's not working or something's not working. You can feel desperate, right? I can see why people do it. I mean, I can see why business owners do it is a different reason to why OnlyFans creators do it. Like slightly different. It's the same tactics, but slightly different, the motivation. But I can see where people get to with it. And then the problem is that when you see it work as a business owner, it becomes addictive, right? Because now all I have to do is that thing and I'm going to make more money. But at the same time, you secretly know you're hurting your business at the same time because people are going to cotton on sooner or later that every time you do that, it's going to come up again he's going to do that again in the future, right? So I can just wait it out if I'm not ready to buy now. And so you've just lost the urgency that scarcity builds if you do it too much. Like it's a weapon for sure, but it's not one you can use every day because it stops working sooner or later.
The last part of cash is the H, right? That's the hierarchy. And so there's a few in here that I singled out, right? The public leaderboard I thought was fascinating that they'll post their top tippers of the month, right? Like Big Daddy 69's number 1 and Lonely Guy 42's number 2, almost like public shaming. But then I really sat and thought about this. It kind of works that way in the golf world. Like, I used to be in a league at my golf club. Naturally, inside a man, you want to be the best. Like, no matter what competition it is, you want to win. And so I could see this working for a golf pro with their students of an achievement leaderboard, or at my golf club, they put all the hole-in-ones for the year on this big sign, right? And everybody wants to get on that sign. When someone gets on the sign, they get all this acclamation. For some strange reason, the guy who hit the hole-in-one has to buy everyone a beer at the bar. I never understood that one, really. And so, the bar's thrilled, too, because someone hit a hole-in-one. But, you want to be on that board. You want to be the next person to do this. And so I could imagine this working in certain businesses. I have a hard time thinking through, we sell physical products, man. I can't picture how you would do a public leaderboard on an e-commerce store, but I'm open to ideas here.
So leaderboards work obviously because it's status, right? Everybody craves status. Like it's one of the biggest motivators and one of the biggest marketing motivators for anybody. It's how all luxury goods are sold, based on status, right? Not on functionality or form, really. And so I think you kind of have to have a community attached to what you do for this to work. Because, if you think about your golf example, you're at the golf club, people are there, they're getting around it. A lot of them know each other, they play together, all of that sort of stuff. And so that's where status works, right? And that's where having the leaderboard works, because you're in that environment where people actually have some connection to each other. You're right. If you're talking about an e-commerce business, you're selling physical products, none of your customers know each other or ever see each other or anything like that. There's no point of having status in that environment, or there's nowhere near as much point. So if you had a community that went alongside next to your business, which is not a terrible idea for any business, and that can take different forms for sure, or some sort of buyers club, or I don't know what, particularly if your business serves people who do something with your products, then I think you could do it.
Do you think we should do it inside a Dropship Breakthrough, a listing like our students who had the best months?
Yeah, well, I mean, we kind of do it a little bit. We have the show-off channel, right? In our Slack, where our community is, there's a little channel in there where people can post their wins, right? I had a great month this month. I did X amount of sales, or I got I got 5. Sometimes people are like, I got 5 new suppliers this month, or there can be other things. It's not always sales, but definitely there's a bit of that there. And I've definitely heard of there being like course communities that do something like that. And so maybe, I don't know.
I think we could pull it off, and I think it would sometimes when you build a business that big, it's hard to be in a Slack channel or some sort of group and provide value because you're running your fucking business, right? So maybe it might, bring them in. It should help all the early people have something to aspire to. And look, you could do it. Some of the other stuff I put in here was like a tier system, right? So OnlyFans would do a bronze, silver, gold, diamond fans with visible badges, right? Or a winner announcement, right? Congrats to Mike for winning this month's biggest tipper award, where you make everyone else feel like a loser. I think we could do that same sort of thing, whether it's a leaderboard, whether it's a tier system, whether it's a this person had the biggest month award type of thing. I think we could easily do that inside of our community. And it would not only be great recognition and status, like you mentioned, to the people who win and who are on the leaderboard, but it would also be extremely inspirational for the new people to see that. When Bill posted in our group this week that he had a 100K day and he's just warming up for Black Friday, that's inspiring, right? That's amazing to see. And so I might have to implement this one.
And so we talked about this a little bit as well for this podcast. I think by the time this episode comes out, like we're recording in advance, of course, as we always do, we'll probably have a membership associated with it. And one of the ideas that we've had for this podcast is to have like an arbitrage challenge or something like that, which would have like a leaderboard built into it. And of course you can confer rewards at people who are at various stages of the leaderboard as well. Like if you're number 1 at the end of the month, you're going to get this. If you're in the top 5, you're going to get this. Like bonuses. Like what are the little bonuses that you can offer people that actually pass the status, actually might be useful to people, and they want to be at the top just to get those things as well. And that drives everybody else to do more of whatever it is your business does, which more than covers the costs of any bonuses that you're going to pass on at the top of the tree.
It does feel very masculine. It feels very natural to be a man and see this and just immediately, I want to be on the top of the board. You know what I mean? It just feels something about it feels very masculine about trying to get, and I'm not saying women wouldn't also want to be competitive and try to get to the top of the board, but something about this and maybe it might just be me being masculine, but something feels very bro-y about that.
Yeah, it does. And I'd love to hear from some women whether some version of this happens. I mean, we're both dudes, so I'm not going to pretend to understand whether this is something that would motivate a woman or not. I'd love to hear though. I mean, if any listeners want to comment in when they get to this part and say, "Yep, that happens as a woman as well," I'd love, or not, like we just don't give a shit about that. I'd love to know.
So just like, you were the good kid in sports and in the locker room, the good kids got picked on the not so good kids and ripped on them, and that hopefully motivated them to be better. There's the whole demotion thread here on OnlyFans, right? You used to be my favorite. Haven't heard from you lately. John just became my new number 1, right? Like emotional manipulation. It makes former big spenders panic. So I'm kind of liking this idea the more we riff on it of like, we should have a leaderboard, right? Whether it's the arbitrage challenge, whether it's in our dropship community, whatever it is, we should have a leaderboard. And the people who fall off there, we should fucking rib them and be like, what's happening, bro? Billy here is crushing you up at the top of the list. What happened? You used to be on the top 3. Like, I don't know. I would like that type of community personally. And maybe some people wouldn't. Maybe some people need a little more hand holding, a little more hugging. And I need some of that sometimes too. But I think this actually could be a pretty good idea, John.
Yeah, well, guilt is a powerful emotion. Like it really is. Like, we talk about guilt trips for a reason. Like it works. I don't know that it's my favorite tactic or strategy for sure, but it does work on people. Absolutely. Make them feel guilty, and that can often drive people to taking more action. And like you say, sometimes people need that. Like if somebody said they're committed to doing something and they're not doing it, like, I committed to start a business, or I committed to improve my fitness, or I committed to get better at my golf game, or I committed to doing whatever, and as your client, and they're not doing it, like, you're kind of not doing your job if you're not calling them out on that, right? Like, that's what they came to you for help with in the first place. So if you just let them slide off and disappear and not take action or not do the things they said that they were signing up to try and do, then I would probably say you're offering a pretty poor service to them in some ways. Like, yeah, I mean, you should be following up and saying, like, what's going on, buddy? You need to pull your socks up. I mean, you can offer help along with that, right? Let's get you back on track with this product over here.
Exactly. All right, I saved one last thing. We kind of talked about it. It's called the exclusivity ladder, right? So I've definitely seen this in programs that I've been a part of. In fact, I recently had Matt Gemco on our podcast. He went and did the Hormozi thing. So the title was like, this dropshipper spent $5,000 to go to Hormozi's event. Matt's a fucking killer, by the way. So, he's not your regular old dropshipper. He's doing unbelievable things. Good for him. He's 23 or 22. But he went there and went through this exact process. So the inner circle members only, but there's always another inner circle, right? The VIP club, but there's a platinum VIP, and then you've reached diamond, but there's secretly like a black diamond. He paid $5,000 to be at Hormozi's event. There was an upsell to, go to the next tier. If you had entered that tier, you got like a special dinner on the last night, I believe is how he phrased it. I could be wrong here. And then at that dinner, they pitched you on the next level, right? And so everyone who was in there was like, hey, did you go to the next level? Oh, fuck no. If you went, then I got to go. And it was just like this own inner marketing was happening just based on these tiers, right? Just if somebody went there, then you would feel like you're missing out if you don't also go to that level. And honestly, what Hormozi was offering sounded fucking awesome. To be fair, totally fair to Alex Hormozi, what Matt said he was offering there was awesome. But this feels like something that you see at every info marketer's event, right? There's just like this upsell and then this upsell and then this upsell. And oh, by the way, you can get to this special group, and often it's access, but there's not actually a top group that you get to. There's just another level that they can create to, put on top of that.
Oh yeah. If they think you're a fish, if they think you got the money, there's always something bigger you can do to spend that money. Yeah. And once again, I mean, this is just another status play, right? Like really, it's not really like in some cases. And once again, like the guru space and whatnot, you're right. This happens all the time. And the majority of the gurus don't have any value to add that matches the price they're charging. Like if you really said, oh yeah, spend an extra $10,000 and have dinner with me. You go, you have the dinner and like, you're kind of like, oh yeah, cool chat and nothing. I didn't really, there was nothing actually out of that. But I got to say I had dinner with blah, blah, blah. And you can say, well, that's your fault for not asking the right questions. Yeah, bullshit. Anyway, like Hormozi, I'm not saying that's Alex Hormozi's deal. I'm sure he's got lots of value. They help grow a lot of businesses for sure. That's what they do. So maybe there is value there, but yeah, it's really a status thing. It's really so you can get to say to your buddies, I'm better than you because I did blah, blah, blah. Like that's all it's really about. It's not helping you grow your business any faster or any better or anything like that. It's just so you can feel special.
I'll be honest, before I sketched out both of these OnlyFans episodes, I was skeptical how this would go. I think they both went awesome. I'm like, there was definitely things we could pull from the last episode. 100% there's stuff we can pull from this episode. And so, I don't know. Leave a comment below. What did you learn? What are you implementing in your business? Or what is some scammy shit you saw online that you were like, oh, that's very much like this scammy shit? Leave a comment below. I want to hear from you guys.